And I'm going to mute everybody first. Oops, mute. Okay, can everybody hear me? Is everybody muted? Yes. Okay, we are good to go. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh. My eyeballs are super dry, so if I'm rubbing my eyes all the time, that's why. Okay, today is, oh God, it's the end of June. It's June 26th. Summit was last weekend in Indianapolis. It was phenomenal. So I went last year, and like I was a newer coach, and so I was pretty overwhelmed with all the stuff that went on. But this year, and I don't know if it was just presented in a new way, like I listened to Melissa and Corinne talking about it, and they all said that this was probably the best summit that they have been to as far as content and energy and just everything like that. So I basically just want to go through, I'm going to talk a little bit about just what I learned, and then kind of talk about some of the just some of the key points that I got from several of the speeches that kind of all tie in. So the theme of Summit this year was Believe in You, which I think is really critical. I mean, especially right now for me in my business, and probably for a lot of other coaches, because belief in yourself in this business is paramount. And we all have fears about, being rejected and people, thinking that we're slimy or whatever, it happens to be. But our job in this business is to help people feel better, be healthier, be happier, change their lives, change their mindset about what they can accomplish. Just the stories that I have received from people who I have been working with. I have a cousin who, she was on the verge of hospitalization for various health issues, and she's like, this is ridiculous, I have to do something. And so she reached out to me, and she started Shakeology, and her blood work completely did almost a 180 over the course of just a couple of months. It's just stories like that. And when we don't when we let our own self get in our own way. Hey, Melissa. Melissa, I'm going to, oh, you're muted. Okay, good. When we let ourselves get in our own way, that's when this business gets harder than it needs to be. What I'm going to talk about is kind of just, I'm going to touch on some of the key points of belief in yourself and some things that really spoke to me. So again, the theme for Summit this year was Believe in You. So in the opening ceremony, Jeff Hill talked about, so Caitlin Jeff is, he's one of the members of the corporate team. He's based at Salt Lake City, but he's everybody, everybody in the corporate team is just phenomenal. There's so much support for coaches in Beachbody. So he said, you can be successful in this business if others don't believe in you, but you can't be successful if you don't believe in yourself. And that is so incredibly true, just because, it's not about other, the things that other people think about us really have no bearing on who we are as a person. That's a reflection on them, not on ourselves. But if we believe what they think about us, that is a reflection on us. And that's, that's ourselves letting our own self get in our own way. And that has, as I've been a coach, that's been the hardest part for me, is being able to get out of my own way and kind of recognize that I have, whatever the things that I am afraid of are, but doing the things anyway that are going to allow me to help people. So in the opening ceremonies, Michelle Myers is a really awesome coach. She actually lives here in Asheville. She and her husband, I don't know how long she's been coaching, probably 10 years. She's been coached for a super long time, but they started out in Texas and moved to Asheville a couple of years ago. Actually, it was funny because I think it was Garrett's first haircut. We went to Great Clips or whatever, and we were sitting there watching, and like this guy walked in, and I was wearing like my Beachbody Diamond Coach t-shirt, and he's like, "Oh, you're a Diamond Coach." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "How long have you been a coach?" And it's like, "Oh, like, 6 or 7 months." He's like, "Oh, wow, like you hit Diamond really quick." And I'm like, "Oh, are you a coach?" And he's like, "Yeah, my wife is." And so we were watching him and his son get haircuts, and I was like telling Garrett, like, "Oh, look how good he's doing." Like, he's sitting there quietly, and because Garrett was like, having his first haircut. And so we walked back out, and I saw them getting in the truck, and I recognized her, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But anyway, so she talked about something called selfless ambition. And that really spoke to me, because like there's a quote by sorry, that's my husband's fire radio. I lost my train of thought. Selfless ambition. So there's a quote by Zig Ziglar, who's like a personal development guru, and he says, "You can get anything in life that you want as long as you help other people get everything in life that they want." And I love that quote. I absolutely love it. And so selfless ambition is about going above and beyond for other people, knowing that, especially in this business, like if we help people get healthier, get the results that they want, if we, talk to people about the coaching opportunity, bring them in, help them be successful as coaches, all of that is going to be repaid to us, tenfold. And because they're going to tell their friends, they're going to help other people get started, they're going to be inspiring coaches. So selfless ambition. So what she said was the best, like, so what is selfless ambition? So she gave a couple of points about like what it is. So basically it's you showing up every day. Number one is you showing up every day for yourself and the people around you, and you saying, how can I serve others today? How can I help other people? How can I help others be the best version of themselves? And what can I do to help others do that? Number two is respect that in this business, it's going to move as fast as it. So she says it moves at the speed of trust, which means that when we're talking to people, like, this business is so different than probably 99% of other businesses, because we build a relationship with people, and our relationship with people, it doesn't end at the sale. It starts at the sale of a product. And that's when we really get to shine as a coach. We get to help people, on their fitness journey. We get to help people feel better, look better, have better self-confidence. We get to help people who want to be coaches, change their lives, by helping others, so they get that feeling of just wanting to be, to pay it forward, to feel like they have a purpose in life. And and all of that begins with trust. So building trust and building a relationship with somebody is where this starts. And so we get that loyalty and the retention of both customers and coaches when we build that trust. And so people are going to want to work with you when they know you and they like you and they trust you. And so it's our job to connect with people and build relationships with people. This isn't a sales job in the, kind of traditional sense of the word. It's a sales, like, yes, we sell things, but primarily what we're doing is we're building relationships with people, which is why I just love it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So then the third thing that she said was, our offline lives make us relevant online. So, when we're thinking about what we're going to be posting during the day and how we're going to be connecting with people, the way that we live our lives when we're not sharing online, that gives us things to talk about. Making sure that we're doing our personal development and we're growing our mind so that we have things to share. Making sure that we're, doing our workouts and being consistent on our own health journey, drinking our shakes every day. And then how we interact with people. I mean, thinking of every situation in our lives that we go through, like day to day, how can we turn that into something that we can share and add value to other people's lives through the experiences that we have in our everyday lives? So our offline lives make us relevant online, and it makes us somebody that people are going to know and like, and ultimately learn to trust, so that we can start, building that loyalty with people that we work with. So point number 4 is, if you let what others might think of you get to you, you're going to get stuck, which really goes back to what Jeff Hill said. You can be successful in the business if others don't believe in you, but you can't be successful if you don't believe in yourself. There are always going to be people who are going to say things, or, you're going to feel like people are judging you, or you're going to feel like people are, there's going to be times when you're going to be either afraid to post something, or you get cold feet, or you think somebody's going to say no and you may as well just not ask. But you can't let those fears get to you, because that will get you stuck. You have to, if you really truly, hold on. Somebody else is going to hop on. Yes, hop on. Okay. Where was I? So if you, it's hard to do. It's hard not to let other people's opinions of you get in your way of yourself. Because, ultimately, like I have said a million times, and like I deal with all the time, like we're all our own biggest hurdle to get over. And you don't have to be, another thing I love that she said is, you don't have to be obedient to other people's opinions and thoughts of you. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks of you. If you love what you're doing and you're good at what you're doing, and you feel driven and inspired to make a difference in people's lives and make a difference in your own life, as long as you're coming from a place of good intentions and love and wanting to help other people, it does not matter one single little bit what anybody else thinks of you, because if they don't support you, then they're not your people. And that's also kind of a hard thing to swallow sometimes, but it's true. So the final thing that she said, so selfless ambition is somebody who refuses to look at this as a business opportunity. And what that means is, opportunity means that something is optional. If you choose to do this and you choose to go all in, this is not an option for you. This is a responsibility that you have to yourself. This is a responsibility that you have to your future, to the people that you're going to help. You have a responsibility. If you have something as amazing as we have to share that changes people's lives, it can make people, if you work hard, you can truly make a very excellent, financial living, but it's also the most rewarding thing to be able to see the changes that people are going through physically and emotionally and mentally, and changing their lives and getting healthy, and like hearing the stories of people who they couldn't walk up and down the stairs without getting winded, and now they're outside playing with their kids, and they're not afraid to go to the pool with their kids, and they're not afraid to get naked in front of their husband, or whatever happens to be. Like Tony tells a story, I've heard it a couple times on these calls that he does on Monday and Wednesdays, is there's a woman who, she messaged him and said, I really want to thank you, because I feel like what I've been doing has basically saved my marriage. Like she was in a bad place mentally and emotionally. She wasn't confident in herself. She didn't feel like she looked good. So she started working out, and she started feeling better about herself, and she started, being nicer to her family and nicer to her husband and more patient with her kids. And like their marriage kind of started to go in a better direction. And this is what health can do for you. And this is the responsibility that we have to share this with other people. And from the business side of it, we have a responsibility to the people we help, but we also have a responsibility to give our families the best that we can give them. And that, to me, that means two things. That means give them our best self, meaning doing our personal development, working out, eating well, being healthy, making sure that we're growing our mind, that we can be patient, that we can be, empathetic, that we can, manage our time so that we can put our phone away when we're with our family, be present. But it also means that we have a responsibility that if we do this and we go all in, we recognize that going to be able to, insert income disclaimer here. Like, you have to work hard if you want this to work, but there's the opportunity to, there's the responsibility to, we could make a very good income from this business if we apply ourselves and work hard. And our families deserve that. If we're doing this, for our families. Amber, what is that? Oh, it's a doll. It's not your child. Okay. Sorry, I get sidetracked by squirrels. So this is a responsibility. It is an incredible opportunity, but we shouldn't look at it as an opportunity. We need to look at it as a responsibility to ourselves and our family and the people that we are currently helping and the people we have yet to even meet or help. So that was Michelle Myers. I loved her talk. She did a really great, if you guys go back sometime, I think it was like October 2016, right after I joined, she did a national wake-up call that was really great. So I would highly recommend going back and listening to that. The next one that I want to talk about, so Ashley Molstad and Amy Silverman. I love Amy Silverman. She's like my favorite person. She's incredible. By the way, she's pregnant. Super exciting. I don't think anybody cares about me. Okay. They talked about losing your limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs everybody has them. That's the thing in the back of your head that says, you can't do this because, or you haven't been able to do this in the past, so what makes you think you can do it now? So they talked about all these things that we can do to overcome and to move past those so that we can get out of our own way. I think that's one of the biggest things I got from the summit was like, I need to dig deeper into my own limiting beliefs and fears and figure out how I can move past them and just go and do all the things that I need to do and not let myself stop myself, basically. So let's see. Okay. So they talked about like, this business isn't about skill set as much as it is about heart. You can learn to do anything. You can learn any skill that you need. There are very few actual skills that you need in this business, which makes it, on one hand, it makes it easy, but on another hand, it makes it challenging because so much of this business is mindset and believing in yourself and believing in you, believing that you can do this and believing that you deserve this and believing that, what you do, believing that what you have to offer is something that other people want and need. I mean, we all know how incredible these products are, but you can have the very best products in the whole world for next to nothing, dirt cheap, and you can still have a hard time selling things if you don't believe that other people are going to want to buy them. And I know it sounds really crazy. Like, it took me a long time to kind of really wrap my head around this, that it's about belief more than anything, but believing in yourself and believing in your own ability to influence people in a positive way truly is what makes this business work for people. So she talked about like, you can learn to do anything. And so like, where were you, 5 years ago? And where do you want to be in 5 years? Like, you have to recognize kind of the difference between, in where you've come on your journey so far. Maybe you're at the very beginning of your journey. Think about where you want to be in 5 years, what you want your life to look like. If you're already on your journey a little ways, like, where were you 5 years ago, and how has what you have been doing, how has that changed your life in a positive way? And don't let the fear of the future hold you back. Don't let the fear of the unknown or your past experiences determine what you believe you can or can't do for yourself. She said something, so like, I'm a firm believer in fake it till you make it. I truly believe that if you continue to, put on a happy face and smile If you teach yourself to be positive, that you will start to become positive. I believe in that. But she changed it a little bit. And she said, faith it till you make it, which I think is a really cool twist, because when you say fake it till you make it, like, you don't want to be a fake person. You don't want to be, putting something out there that isn't actually real. But when you have faith, that's when you believe. Again, going back to like the theme of Summit, which is believe in you. You believe in yourself, even if you're not seeing the results right now. You believe that you will achieve that. You believe that you have it in you to accomplish whatever goal you set yourself up to accomplish. So I'm going to start saying faith it till you make it, because I really like that a lot better. I think that that actually really, really, really resonated with me. And I think that's awesome. I just love that. Okay, so what else? I just love her. Ashley Molstad's good too, but I just love Amy Silverman. She's really big on affirmations. She gave a couple of affirmations that I really like. So if I haven't done affirmations before, I've been doing this Josh Coates training, and every day we're supposed to be saying affirmations or writing them down. And so for the last 26 days, I've been diligent about writing out my affirmations for myself, and I'm loving them. It actually really changes kind of how I start my day. It's great. So she gave some really good ones that I like that I've been incorporating into mine. One is thinking about, like, as you grow a team, think to yourself, so say my team is lucky to be on my team. And what that does is it tells your brain that you're a good leader. It tells your brain that you're inspiring your team. Tell yourself, I'm a successful coach. And another big one is everything I need is inside me right now. I read and listen to a lot of Jen Sincero, who's the author of You're a Badass. And she's really big on all this, that like everything in the universe that you are looking for is already out there. It's already available. We just have to be open to receive it. And so when you say everything that I need is already inside me, there's nothing that you don't already have. Like you could be as successful as you believe that you can be. There's nothing else that you have to go out and find or do. You already have all of it. And that's so powerful. Whether it's on your fitness journey, whether it's on, as a coach, whether it's, learning relationships or even like dealing with relationships that you already have, you already know everything you need to know. You just have to go do it and apply it. She talked about being all in. So we all have heard, when a coach who's, a successful coach, and they're interviewed and they say, and then I decided to go all in. What does that even mean? So for her, she was just talking about what it meant for her. She said, what it meant for her was she just accepted herself for who she was. And she basically got all in with herself, which means she accepted herself and accepted all of the, the fears. She got out of her own way with her own fears. She just let everything flow and just, I don't even know. She explained it so much better than I can. So she literally said, I accepted me for me, and I went all in with myself. Like she took the initiative to just not listen to that nasty voice in her head, which I have. I'm sure we all have. So that was Amy Silverman. The other ones I wanted to talk about, Shawn Achor. I actually downloaded his book. So Shawn Achor was our guest speaker, one of the keynote speakers, and he talked about the happiness advantage. I downloaded the book, and I'm in like the first 10 minutes. Stupid thing. Okay, I'll be quick. And you guys, if I run out of time, we can all just like log off and log back in. If you guys want to keep talking, that's fine with me too. Because this is like, there's so much. I mean, we could talk about Summit for a month or more every day. Okay, keep going. So Shawn Achor, he talks about why happiness is really one of the keys to being successful. Like we've heard, probably whether or not we've actually heard somebody say it or we just believe it ourselves, is we say like, okay, well, once I lose 20 pounds, then I will be happy. Once I get that job, I will be happy. Once I start making X amount of money, then I will be happy. But he argues, and he is a Harvard trained scientist who has studied this. He says, based on his research, that happiness is actually what determines success, not the other way around. So in our, in what we've been learning, people have said to us, first you have to have success and then you'll find happiness. But it's actually the other way around, where learning how to be happy is actually a bigger determination of the success that we will reach. So that's kind of one of the main points of his research. I didn't write down very many notes because he spoke so quickly that it was really hard to keep up. But his book is incredible. And actually, I'm sure it'll be loaded up on YouTube at some point. If not for the world, at least just for coaches, maybe in the back office, where you can go back in and you can watch his presentation, because they do keep recordings of the keynote speakers from Summit. So he, okay, so what he did, he identifies happiness as a joy that's felt when you're moving towards your potential, which I think is really powerful, because it's more about like recognizing the journey that you're on and being appreciative and having gratitude for where you are in your life. That's what causes happiness. It's when your actions line up with your potential. And so it's the joy that you feel knowing that you're moving there, that you're doing the things, you're even if you're not seeing the results, you're doing all the right things, which is another thing that I've learned in this business, which is, oh, bye, Caitlin. Which is that, we, I forgot what I was going to say. I forget. I'll come back. I'll remember. So his book is really, really good. And he talks, I think a lot of his speech was based off of the book. He's really funny. He's really, really, really cool to listen to. And he's got a great sense of humor, but he has a lot of really good information. And so one of the things that he talked about was something called a 2-minute happiness hygiene habit. And Melissa, not Melissa on the call. Hi, Melissa on the call. Melissa Hadley has started, she calls it the Firefly Challenge, which is, being grateful for 3 things, and then reaching out to somebody and basically recognizing them every day, or recognizing a different person every day. And so that actually came from Shawn Achor. That was his 2-minute hygiene habit, which is something that he has people practice as part of his research, which is you practice gratitude, and your gratitude needs to evolve, meaning you can't be grateful for the same 3 things every day, or it doesn't have the same effect. You can't repeat it. And so every day you need to be grateful for 3 new things, because when your brain makes the change is when you're expanding and doing things that grow it. So just repeating yourself, you're only going to get as far as the day that you thought of those 3 things. And then the second thing is spending 2 minutes and sending an email or a text message and recognizing or thanking or praising somebody in your life for just being amazing or doing something amazing or making you, feel good, or, something along those lines. Basically what we do is recognition. And it's a good way to get recognition in. Recognition doesn't necessarily have to be public, which I think is where I was getting caught up for a long time. The next thing, let's see. And then he did an Oprah interview, like a 2-hour Oprah interview that I want to look up and watch, where he talks about how to feel better when you're depressed, basically, which I think is something that, I mean, we could all deal with, but it sounds like it was a really, really great interview, and I would really like to watch that. The last thing I want to talk about, because I have like 4 minutes, was the very last thing that we watched in the breakout sessions for Summit. Kim Carver. Again, if you don't know who Kim Carver is, he works in the Utah office, and I don't remember his title, but he's basically like Superman. Like, I swear that guy needs to write a parenting book. He always tells stories about like his like conversations with his kids, and he's like he's the most awesome dad. Anyway, so he talked about focusing on the fundamentals, and this really goes back to like not just the 4 vital behaviors, but getting like transitioning from your intentions doing something to your decision and the action to do it. So like, if you're like, oh yeah, like you know that to move your business forward, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and you have these really good intentions to do it, but it's not going to benefit anybody if you don't actually make a plan and do the things that you know are going to move your business forward. And it's the really basic things. It's, getting a game plan together, figuring out what you need to do, and having the accountability set up, whether it's in a team page, or if it's in a challenge group, or if it's with your upline, or if it's with your success partner or somebody else, figuring out who you can be accountable, who you can reach out to help hold yourself accountable to get these things done. And so he listed out 6 ways of how successful coaches apply the vital behaviors. So I'm just really quickly going to walk through these. Number 1 is to use the products daily and share your journey. You want to be your best challenger, coach, and customer all wrapped into one. Like, if you had an ideal customer, challenger, or coach, you be that person every day. And then share the success as it applies to your lifestyle. Number 2 is daily personal development, both professional and personal, and then apply what you learn. Number 3 is helping 3 people every month. So always have something to invite to, post daily, and then he gives some kind of good, numbers. Expand your network by 10 people, connect with 10 new people, invite 5 people, and follow up with 5 people. And I think that's a really good, 10-10-5-5 rule. So expand, connect, invite, and follow up. Number 4 is create value for existing customers. Make sure that you're reaching out to people. I have less than a minute. Help your new coaches. Number 5 is drive duplication with all coaches. So help your new coaches get their first commission in the first 10 days and train in the vital behaviors. And number 6 is keep your commitments. Treat this business like a business. Be here in a year. So basically, like, we all need to be at Summit next year. And then, have a compelling vision and purpose for yourself. Do your power hour every day and find joy. And I think that's it. I think we're about to be cut off. But if you guys want to hop back on, I'll hop back on after we got cut off. If anybody wants to hop back on. Okay. So that is my I feel like I don't have nearly enough time to talk about Summit, but that was Summit. Next couple of weeks, we're going to have Melissa and Amber hop on and talk about Summit in their breakdown. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, and we can hop back on. So thanks, guys. Bye.